You are Locked On Phillies Postcast, part of Locked On Sports Philadelphia, on the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
Welcome to the show, everybody. Yeah, I know. You can't win them all. Blah, 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 blah. You know what you also shouldn't do? Award the other team 2 free runs when you just throw the balls in the dirt with wild pitches. Jeff Hoffman, Jose Alvarado. What the hell, fellas? Come on. I understand also there's some bad luck on the Phillies side. There's also some really good luck on the Phillies side in this game, and we'll cover it all. Welcome into this Locked On Philadelphia Sports postcast for your Locked On Philadelphia Phillies. My name is Mark Barzetta. We'll take you through the whole thing, and this program is brought to you by the wonderful people at the Game Time app. Today's episode presented by the Game Time app. Download the Game Time app, create an account, use promo code LOCKEDONMLB for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Want to go to the game, the comedy show, the concert, whatever the case may be, download the Game Time app, use promo code LOCKEDONMLB for $20 off your first purchase. Let's get into it. 3 big things. Phillies, first and foremost, unable to complete the split 4-game series sweep of the New York Mets. If you want to count it as a sweep in New York with the 2 games they played in Flushing, fine. I think the Phillies are a little bit above calling that a sweep, but here's how I like to look at it. The Phillies have still won this series. They still have not lost a series since they lost the second series of the season to Cincinnati Reds. That was a long time ago, about a month and 2 weeks ago. So the Phillies are still sitting pretty in this moment. However, you had a huge opportunity to put the Mets away in this game. Huge opportunity. And the first thing I'm going to look at, because look, you can't help a pitcher getting a ball off his foot and then having to leave a game. A pitcher that was only making his 4th start of the season, like Taiwan Walker was making tonight. You can't help it. Stuff like that happens. It's baseball. But of course, on a day where he goes out, your lineup has trouble responding, at least to the point of producing more than 2 for 15 with runners in scoring position the way the Phillies were today. Produce more than, the 10 guys that they left on base throughout this ballgame, especially against a guy like Jose Quintana, who the Phillies took for 10 runs in 2 starts he made against the Phillies last season, and a guy who had combined for 12 runs allowed in his previous 2 starts before facing the Phillies today. A guy that was 1-4 on the season coming into the ballgame, and this Phillies lineup could not tattoo this guy like they should have. It's unfortunate. The first thing I'm going to look at in today's ballgame, and I know they got some runs late. I know they scored 5 runs in the game, but on a day where your starting pitcher leaves after 3 1/3 innings of work, maybe the lineup should respond. Maybe the lineup should be picking up these pitchers, and they didn't do that today. Not enough. Number 2, this just sucks, this part of it. Of course, a day where their starting pitcher leaves after just a little over more than 3 innings worth of work, 3 1/3. Of course, you're going to go into not just 1 extra inning, like seems to typically happen when you go into the 10th inning. That's pretty much it. That's a wrap. But on the rare occasion, the Phillies actually go 11 innings today. So not only did you lose your starting pitcher in the 4th inning, you then had to rely on the bullpen for the rest of the 4th, the 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th, 11th inning. Thank goodness they got some good outings from these guys. Matt Strahm certainly came in. He was great. Looking at this Phillies bullpen as that second big thing in the game today. Strahm was able to give you an inning and 2/3. He had an up-down as well. He got 2 strikeouts. He was perfect through that, using just 16 pitches to get you the 5 outs that he got. That's pretty good. Orion Kerkering struck out the side in his inning. He did give up 1 hit. Then you saw Gregory Soto go out there and use just 9 pitches to be able to mow through his half of the 7th inning. That's pretty good. Like what I saw from him. And this brings me to the third thing. Jeff Hoffman. I like Jeff Hoffman. I like Jeff Hoffman a lot. And I'm not going to pile on Jeff Hoffman for his outing that he had tonight. I am going to instead concentrate on something else. I would really like it if the Phillies stopped taking baseballs off their body in any way that they're delivered to their bodies. Okay? First example, Gregory Soto against the Marlins. Extra innings. He takes one right up the inning, right off his old keister there, and the winning runs ends up scoring. Then you go into New York to face the Mets there, okay? You have, let's see, Alec Boehm gets hit twice. That's not fun. Bryson Stott in this series takes ones off the calf last night. Edmundo Sosa gets hit by a pitch in this game right off the forearm, right off the elbow pad, fortunately. Taiwan Walker, he also takes the ball off of his foot. And then in that horrendous eighth inning that the Phillies go into, and we'll cover it all, but they go into that inning looking to slam the door, giving the ball to Jeff Hoffman in the eighth, and then giving the ball to Jose Alvarado in the ninth to slam the door closed. However, what happened was Jeff Hoffman goes out there on the mound for the eighth inning. Unfortunately, there's a throwing error from Bryson Stott. Yes, the same Bryson Stott that I have been championing the cause of him to get more time at shortstop. He got a little bit more time at shortstop today when he came in off the bench. And he comes in, and he immediately has an error. Great. Grand. Taylor reaches base to lead off the inning. Then Alonso steps up to the plate. He works a walk on 9 pitches. In the meantime, Taylor had already stolen second base, so now you got to run around first and second. You got nobody out at this point in the inning. Then Francisco Lindor. Thank goodness gracious, he sucks at baseball now. Did you hear the stat today by Tom McCarthy? Now, at this point, it was only 80. But after the game was over, 81 runners he's left on base. 81 runners he's left on base this season. That is insane. So anyway, thank goodness he still sucks. So then Martinez steps up, and I think at this point Hoffman's going to get out of it because he just struck out Francisco Lindor on a high fastball. Then he got Martinez to chase a slider. Love it. Then Bader steps up, and Hoffman goes up 1-2 on him. And with the count 1-2, he hangs a slider just up enough for Bader to belt that ball into the outfield for a single. Bader to make solid contact with it, hit it right up the middle, off Hoffman's back, and a run ends up scoring to tie things up at 3. Then what happens? You get your first wild pitch run scored of the game, the first of 2. This one courtesy of Jeff Hoffman. Unfortunately, JT Realmuto couldn't corral it. And the next thing you know, Alonso, of all people, comes around to score on this play. This was the play, if I'm not mistaken, that just stuck in the middle of the backstop, and JT Realmuto couldn't do anything. There was no ricochet to help him out to attempt to get the polar bear, Pete Alonso, trying to score on that play. So now the Mets go up 4-3. Whoopity-doo. Very frustrating to see this. Now, because I had learned from watching the Gregory Soto play, who was it? Ramirez, I think it was, or Rivera it was, who got that hit off him in Miami. I watched for where the second baseman was playing. Shortstop was Bryson Stott. Second base was Cody Clemens, who also had pinch hit earlier in the ballgame. So you see him go out there in the at second base there in the 8th inning, and I'm thinking, all right, where is Cody Clemens playing when Bader makes contact? Would it have been an inning-ending ground out, essentially? Would the Phillies be slamming the door closed at this point, 3-2, still with the lead, heading into the bottom of the 8th inning to potentially do more damage? And the answer to that question is a resounding yes. There is no question whatsoever the Phillies would have gotten out of that inning if the ball didn't go off of Jeff Hoffman's back. It would have went right to Cody Clemens, who would have had an easy play either at second or at first base, and he would have been out of the inning just like that. But unfortunately, wasn't meant to be for the Phillies tonight. Now, Phillies now down a run. They're not able to get anything there in the 8th inning for themselves. Harper said, this is the other thing. You're facing the meat of the order, essentially, here. Ottavino goes in there to pitch, right-handed pitcher there for the Mets. Harper grounds out to first. Boehm hits a double. Now, I talk about luck being on the side for the Phillies sometimes and then sometimes not. Alec Boehm should have struck out. Got extra strike in the at-bat. Guccione, who was behind the plate today, the home plate umpire, there was no such thing as a high strike unless it was chased. And in this case, he didn't call it for Alec Boehm. So Pitch that was very much below the letters, very much in the strike zone. A pitch that I'm a little surprised that Alec Boehm didn't at least foul off or at a little bit. He takes the pitch right down the middle, high in the zone for a ball. And then Alec Boehm on the very next pitch delivers it into left center field for a double. So now you have a runner in scoring position. The tying run in scoring position, standing there on second base with one out in the inning. Unfortunately, Nick Castellanos, he flies out to second, and then Whit Merrifield grounds out to first. Whit Merrifield is not having a good go of it, people. Not even a little bit. So then you go to the ninth inning. Jose Ruiz comes in and out of nowhere, and he all of a sudden looks like an angel. Jose Ruiz gets Vientos to strike out, McNeil to strike out, and Navarez to fly out to center field. 1, 2, 3. Just like that. Done with the ninth inning. Going to the bottom of the ninth inning, that's when Bryson Stott steps up and he delivers. He does what he usually does, which is be Edwin Diaz's daddy. But unfortunately there, as time went on, after you tied the game up on that single, you tied it at 4-all. Nothing was doing there in the 10th inning, unfortunately, for the Phils. In the 11th inning, Alvarado comes in, gives up the RBI single to Martinez. It's 5-4. Bader gets a double. Marte strikes out. Vientos strikes out. Again, just like Jeff Hoffman, you thought you were out of the inning. You thought you were at least going to get out the inning, maybe with minimal damage. And this is when you spike a ball in the dirt and another run scores on another wild pitch. If there was something I could go back, look, 2 for 15 with runners in scoring position. I think the Mets in this game were 3 for 15 with runners in scoring position. Like, it's going to happen sometimes. But what can't happen is when a runner is on third, you're a very experienced veteran bullpen arms that you're trusting to lock down the game in Hoffman and Alvarado can't be spiking baseballs in the dirt with runners on third base in a tight game, especially when you're getting into the 11th inning, Jose Alvarado. And that's the way it would end. Phillies come up there in the bottom of the 11th inning. Bryson Stott's able to get you an RBI ground out. Phillies had another opportunity, multiple opportunities there in the bottom of the 11th inning, and just couldn't get it done. They lose the game 6-5. Very, very frustrating as this entire game played out. When it came to the injuries, when it came to knowing that your bullpen was going to have to come in early, it pretty much seems like either 7 guys pitched for the Phillies or 1. And that 1 is Aaron Nola for the most part. Or maybe even Ranger Suarez. But even Ranger Suarez went 5 innings yesterday. So needed the bullpen in that game a little bit. Not as much. Spencer Turnbull, 3 innings there. So there you go. A little bit of a rough one there for the Phillies, unfortunately. They had their opportunities, and they just couldn't put them away. We'll go through some more of the play-by-play when we come back, especially what the heck was going on with some of the just the craziness, especially in the middle innings of this game. We'll get to that more when we return. You are Locked On Phillies postcast on the Locked On Sports Philadelphia YouTube channel. Oh, the Game Time app. Take advantage of the Game Time app. You want tickets? Want to go to the game? Want to go to the concert? Want to go to the comedy show? The Game Time app is where it's at. Download the Game Time app to your phone. Use promo code LOCKEDONMLB for $20 off your first purchase. Game Time is an authorized ticket marketplace for Major League Baseball, which makes getting tickets faster and easier. Prices on the Game Time app actually go down the closer you get to first pitch as well. They also have killer last-minute ticket deals. They have all-in pricing. You can view your seats before you buy them, and they got the lowest price guaranteed. Now, how do you know that? Well, if you find tickets in the same section or row for less money elsewhere, Game Time will get you back at 110% of the difference. That's right. They will credit your account 110% of the difference. Game Time ain't messing around. They have the all-in pricing. It's just fantastic. You have the seat view, so you get a panoramic view, not just some one-angled view, a panoramic view of the seat before you purchase it. So you have no surprise fees also, by the way, at checkout. That's absolutely my favorode thing, is that there's no wildly inconvenient convenience fee when you go to check out. It's just the price is the price. And when you download the app and you use promo code LOCKEDONMLB, you get $20 off your first purchase. Game Time ticket coverage as well. Your purchase is covered with the most flexible customer service policy in the ticketing industry. So take the guesswork out of buying MLB tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, use code LOCKEDONMLB for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account, use the code LOCKEDONMLB for $20 off. Download the Game Time app today. Last-minute tickets, lowest price, guaranteed. All right, before we move any further, let's get to our chat check and see how you guys are doing. Jose Ruiz did good. Oh, he did do good. He did real good. I'll even venture to say muy bueno. You know what I'm saying? Hope Walker is okay, says Star Wars 99. I agree. Ari, thank you for checking in. Ari Stein, good evening. Good evening to you, sir. Here's what was driving me a little crazy in tonight's ballgame. You see Diaz come out there in the in the ninth inning, trying to protect a one-run lead. If you're a Mets fan, and I loved the shots of the Mets fans, just waiting with bated breath just to see what was going to happen with Edwin Diaz going in, okay? And Brandon Marsh steps up to the plate, and he works a walk. The fact that he led off the inning with a walk, that's good, obviously. But the fact that he led off the inning with a 10-pitch at-bat in which he fouled off 4 pitches when he was down in the count, when he had 2 strikes on him in the count, fouls off 4 pitches, and then finally gets the magical invitation to first base. He works the walk in a 10-pitch at-bat to start off that 9th inning. At that point, here's what I knew. I'm not going to tell you that I knew the Phillies were going to win the game at that point, because obviously they didn't. But I didn't feel like they were going to win it. But here's what I knew was going to happen. He was going to blow that save. Edwin Diaz, Shaky McShakerton, could not settle in. And Cody Clemens comes up. Oh, my goodness gracious. Cody Clemens comes up. Brandon Marsh able to steal second base, or no, take second base on a wild pitch, excuse me. Cody Clemens gets to a 3-1 count, and I'm thinking, don't help him, don't help him, don't help him. He helped him. First pitch was right down, the first strike right down the middle, easy peasy. The second pitch, first strike, down the middle. Cody Clemens, rightfully so, took a hack at it. Didn't make contact. It was there for the taking. Speaking of there for the taking, a lot of the pitches that Brandon Marsh just fouled off. Oh, man, those were home run balls, baby. Those were home run balls. But Cody Clemens, unfortunately, could not connect. He works the 3-2 count, and then he swings at a pitch inside, way too inside. Should have been runners on first and second with nobody out to start off that 9th inning. But unfortunately, that's not what it was. It was just Brandon Marsh standing on second base with 1 out. But that's where Bryson Stott stepped up. And Bryson Stott hit that RBI single to, again, put Edwin Diaz over his knee and spank him. That's what happened. I mean, you don't have to go back and watch it. I'm telling you, that's what happened. And the Phillies were able to tie it up there. But then, again, you get Bryson Stott. He ended up being on second base after stealing second. Kyle Schwarber at the plate. He strikes out on 3 pitches. Realmuto comes up, and then this was the backbreaker in the game. JT Realmuto demolished, hit the ball on the screws. And as you know, baseball is a funny game. Hit it right at McNeil at second base. JT Realmuto, a guy that is just a cool Oklahoma kid, you could see the frustration on him. He was pretty pissed off. Hit that in the worst possible spot. Hit the baseball in the best possible spot, put it in the direction of the worst possible spot. Well, it was right at McNeil at second base. So the Phillies had an opportunity there. That would have been the game-winning hit. Bryson Stott, no doubt, with 2 outs, running on contact, he scores. If that ball drips or drizzles into dribbles into right field, he scores on that, no doubt about it, and the Phillies win this game. But that's not how it happened. I mentioned Jose Ruiz. If I had to say that there was 3 big things that were good in this game, Jose Ruiz is absolutely one of them. Came out for another inning with a runner in scoring position there. Navarez was at second base in the 10th inning, and no fear. No fear of this kid. He gets Taylor to ground out to second base for the first out. Navarez is able to take third, fine. And then with the infield playing in, Bryson Stott playing in at shortstop, Pete Alonso grounds out to him. Stott checks the runner back. Navarez back to third, fires to first. He gets the first out. And then Francisco Lindor was left fishing and flailing at Jose Ruiz, 12-6 curveball to strike him out. Again, Lindor goes down in this game. One of my favorite moments of this game, if I had to say there was a bright spot, it really made me smile, aside from anything that happened on the field that the Phillies actually did well in this game, it would be the fan that was cheering. Did I say cheering? Jeering Francisco Lindor in the top of the 11th inning after Martinez got the RBI single that plated Francisco Lindor and had him come around to score the go-ahead run there in the 11th inning. I love the fan that just said, "Hell of a job, Francisco." Not doing anything, but you could run from second to home. You didn't get on second base on your own accord. All you did was strike out the previous inning, but yet, congratulations. Big job there for him. And then Alvarado's inning was just very, very rough to watch. Now, I mentioned the middle innings of this game. There were just some things that you saw go down in this game. First off, I don't know if Taiwan Walker would have settled in nicely. I thought he was going to settle in nicely, but you see that first inning, gives it the home run to Pete Alonso, 439 feet to slightly left center field. Ball was absolutely tattooed. A knee-high sinker that did not sink nearly enough, and Pete Alonso just dropped the barrel of the bat on that baseball, and goodbye. So now you're 1-0. You're adding to that lead with a 2-0 lead at that point in the second inning when Marte got the single to center field. So he gets on base with one out. Beatty steps up there. He gets the RBI double. You're now down 2-0. And then you started to see, I thought, Taiwan Walker settle in a little bit. Fourth inning, he gives up the walk to Martinez. Stewart flies out to left field. Marte gets the infield single, and this one is off the foot again of Taiwan Walker, and he had to leave the game. Strahm was able to get out of the rest of the inning with 4 pitches. I thought two runs, that's nothing for this Phillies team. So what happened in the middle innings? The 6th inning comes up. Schwarber flies out to left field to start things off. Realmuto hits a long single off the wall in right field. Harper then gets an infield single on a ball that Lindor just couldn't corral. So now you have runners on first and second. Bohm steps up. I mean, he got a hit. Doesn't get credit for the. I'm going to see if they changed this. I did look towards the end of the game. I didn't update. But Bohm hits a single to left field. Realmuto scores. Bohm did not get an RBI on the play. In the 6th inning. Yeah, so Bohm did get an RBI on the play. That's good that they changed that. They originally ruled it where he was not getting credited with the RBI, which was hogwash, if you ask me. So Bohm steps up there in the 6th inning, gives you the RBI single to left field. Realmuto scores. Bohm goes to second. Harper takes third. Castellanos gets the RBI sac fly to left field. And just like that, bing, bang, boom, you're tied up at 2. Then Whit Merrifield, of course, does what he seems to do now, which is just end any threat. And that's what he did. He grounded out to shortstop to end that inning. But it's 2-2. Then the Phillies actually take a lead in the 7th inning. This is where I thought the Phillies were actually going to put it away. And Kyle Schwarber got the RBI double to right field. I don't know what the Mets were doing. I don't think most teams do this. But here's what went down. Bryson Stott pinch hits with 2 outs for Christian Pache. He works a walk on 4 pitches. Kyle Schwarber steps up, and I don't know where the Marte is shaded all the way over towards center field. Kyle Schwarber's up. What? But he only pulls the ball. If he's making contact, hey, look, I'm happy the Mets don't know what the hell they're doing. Don't get me wrong. But if you're going to do this, you're not shading away from the right field line. You're shading towards it. So anyway, Schwarber puts the barrel of the bat on it, ropes it down the right field line, and that ball was like a slow rolling putt into the corner. And Bryson Stott scores from first base on this play. Phillies take a 3-2 lead, and then unfortunately, the Mets came back, and you had the wild pitches that really hurt you, to say the absolute least. But that was just a strange play there by the Mets. But all in all, I still feel pretty good about this Phillies team. We'll talk about where they're headed. They take 3 of 4 from the New York Mets. If you tell me before the series they take 3 of 4 from the Mets, I'm a happy guy. I'm still a happy guy. Just unfortunate the way this fell apart today. They had many, many opportunities courtesy of Edwin Diaz. They had opportunities with Jake Diekman on the mound there, and they just couldn't cash in enough. 2 for 15 with runners in scoring position. That certainly does bite you. I did reference this earlier, but just to give you the number, 3 for 15. The Mets were 3 for 15 with runners in scoring position. The Phillies 2 for 15. Now you could say, oh, look, it's not that big a deal. Well, I expect the Phillies to actually hit with runners in scoring position. I'm sure the Mets fans are pretty much used to the Mets not hitting with runners in scoring position. Please and thank you. All right, when we come back, we'll take a look at where the Phillies are headed. Also, we'll take a look and see what else was going down in the league today. Not a big night of action in baseball. But we'll break it down and more when we come back. You're Locked On Phillies postcast. Hey, we having fun yet on FanDuel? You have FanDuel on your phone? You having yourself a good time with FanDuel? Download the FanDuel app to your phone and let the games begin. It's a winner-take-all time in the NBA and the NHL. Have fun on the MLB as well. And FanDuel's giving you a shot to bring home a big win of your own. Right now, new customers get $150 in bonus bets with any winning $5 bet. What? Yes, that's $150 to bet on spreads, money lines, player props, and more. All you got to do, visit FanDuel.com/LockedOn. That's FanDuel.com/LockedOn and make every playoff shot count. FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. Once again, right now, new customers get $150 in bonus bets with any winning $5 bet. Go out there, find that bet, win that bet. FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. As I mentioned, a slow night in Major League Baseball. Not that many games going on. The Braves were idle tonight, so the Phillies only lose a half a game on the Mets. They're 2.5 games up on the Mets, or excuse me, on the Braves in the NL East standings. The Pirates did take care of business against the Cubbies, another very good National League team. That was a 5-4 victory in favor of the Pirates. That's how that game shook out. Now, as for where your Philadelphia Phillies go after this, after they take the 6-5 loss to the Mets, they're right back at it tomorrow night. They'll start up a 3-game series, keeping it in the NL East against the 20-22 Washington Nationals. Phillies 31-14 now on the season. As for your starting pitchers, Jake Irvin will get the start. Right-handed pitcher there for the Nationals. Zach Wheeler goes for your Philadelphia Phillies. Jake Irvin coming off a performance to 2-3 on the season with a 3.55 ERA, but coming off a performance where he dazzled against the Boston Red Sox, going 7 innings in Boston, allowing 2 runs, a home run. Both runs were earned on 4 hits. Not too bad there. And Zach Wheeler, we all remember what Zach Wheeler's coming back from, and it ain't great. But in total, he's 4-3 on the season with a 2.53 ERA. That start against the 6 hits, 1 home run, and issued 3 walks in just 4 innings of work. He said after the game, he felt good, felt the umpire did a good job. He felt like the communication with him and Garrett Stubbs wasn't great, but that wasn't throwing Stubbs under the bus. And then, of course, in the next start that Stubbs got out there with Aaron Nola on the hill, Aaron Nola was sure to point out how great Garrett Stubbs is. But anyway, JT Realmuto back behind the plate for Zach Wheeler tomorrow night. So hopefully more of the usual from Zach Wheeler in that start. Here's what's crazy. So Zach Wheeler went into that start against the Miami Marlins, and he had an ERA of 1.64. And just like that, his ERA balloons to 2.53. Almost 100 points. That's pretty remarkable. Just one start, and it wasn't a very good one either. Also, 3 walks in that game, more than he had in his 2 previous games combined. Bit of a rough one. As for Zach Wheeler, this will be the first time he faces the Washington Nationals this season. Had some struggles against them last year, but hopefully all the ship has been righted when it comes to Zach Wheeler taking on this Washington Nationals team. When it does come to the Nationals, just looking at what they've been doing recently, as I mentioned, 20-22 on the young season. It's a 6:40 start time tomorrow night in South Philly. And the Nationals come into this game Fresh off a 4-game series, 3-game series in Washington, against the White Sox in Chicago. They had a 6-game road trip that ended up being 6 days. Actually, it was a 7-game road trip. It was a 4-game series in Chicago that ended up getting washed out the first game of that series. They only won 2 games on the road, and they're coming off back-to-back shutouts where they got shut out. So it's been 2 full games since the Washington Nationals scored a run. Good times. Good times. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Make sure you guys like and subscribe. Locked On Sports Philadelphia. That's Locked On Sports Philadelphia's YouTube channel. Make sure you guys like and subscribe to all that. I'll be here tomorrow night for your Philadelphia Phillies postcast, hopefully talking about a dazzling performance from Zach Wheeler where he tossed 8 scoreless innings against the Washington Nationals, and Bryce Harper hit 2 home runs. Let's talk about that. All right. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Make sure you hit like and subscribe on all things Locked On Sports Philadelphia. My name is Mark Farzetta. Thanks for watching this episode of this Locked On Phillies postcast.